Hi, this is Deb Brown from the Webster City Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm welcoming Maureen Seamonds from the Produce Station Pottery here in Webster City. Hi, Mo, how are you?
Hi, Deb. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, Produce Station Pottery, tell us what that is. What is your business all about?
The Produce Station Pottery is a full service pottery. We have kilns here. We make everything from clay. We mix the clay, we make the pot, we fire the pot in our own kilns that we actually built ourselves, and then we have it here in the shop. I've had the studio for many years, but I taught full time, so I kept it just as my own studio. And in the last few years, I began by hiring some students to work here that had graduated and wanted full-time work. And so we opened the doors full-time then. And Billy Cho was my first student who was a resident potter. And he was here a couple of years, and he's still with us, but he's now in school in Iowa City in graduate school part-time. So he supplies the shop, but he doesn't any longer work here. But then I am here full-time now. So I'm the potter here now.
So, I know that you taught at Iowa Central Community College and ISU too, Iowa State as well, correct?
Correct, and Drake.
And Drake.
Yeah.
So, but you do more than pottery, correct?
Yeah, I do sculpture mostly. I mean, if I had a specialty, I would say it was sculpture, and I work in both clay and metal. But pots are a way of life for me. So I love working around them. I love working with them. And I make them as not my primary work, but certainly the way I kind of connect with the material kind of work. So.
And we just see a tiny little bit of what you do behind you.
Right. If you look on the shelves, you can kind of see these are all pots. A lot of these small functional pots are made by Billy Cho. And some of you know Billy. He is a wonderful young man who grew up in Hong Kong. And then he was my student at Iowa Central. And then he finished at my alma mater, Northwest Missouri State in Maryville, Missouri. And then he is a grad student getting his MFA, Master of Fine Arts, at the University of Iowa. On a full ride, I might add.
And you yourself have a lot of credibility in your area of work. Why did you choose Webster City? Why have you decided to stay?
I grew up here, and when we got married, we lived away, and when we went to college, we lived away. But my husband grew up in California, and his heart was in Webster City always. So he's the one who chose to live in Webster City. And I've spent my life making Webster City a place I want to live. So.
That's awesome. So if you grew up here, are your parents still living?
No. But I have family.
I know you have a sister, Bridget. Tell me about, do you have other brothers and sisters?
I do. Bridget is an assistant attorney general, and she drives to Des Moines every day to work. And my brother, Pat, is a county attorney here. I have a brother, Mick, who lives here, and a sister, Kathy, who lives near here. And I have a big family. So, and then I have others that live away. So.
And you have children?
I do. I have 3. Nick lives here in Elm Street House. Nick has cerebral palsy, so he has a special house here that he lives in. So he's part of our lives on a daily basis. And Shelley lives in Clarion on Lake Cornelia and is a guidance counselor in Humboldt. And Sean lives in Des Moines.
Des Moines, excellent. Do you have pets? I can't remember.
Do what?
You have pets?
Pets? No.
Yeah.
We had Vanna. We had wonderful Vanna, who was Nick's dog. We had 3 yellow labs. The last of whom was Nick's dog, Vanna. She was a yellow lab, hence he named her Vanna. And she was a wonderful dog. And when we lost her, we just haven't been, our hearts are too wounded yet to replace her, but maybe someday.
Got it. So what are a couple of the favorite things that you like to do in Webster City?
I love the library in Webster City. Love the library, and I love the parks in Webster City. I love Briggs Woods. I love the Twin Parks where we do the sculpture project. I love that little park. And
Beautiful part.
yeah, I like to I like Seneca Street because that's where I live, really. And my little historic building on Seneca Street has just been a refuge and a home for most of my professional life now, really. When I think about it, we bought it. 3 artists renovated these buildings in the 80s. So we've had them a long time. And they're really special little shops. They have all the character of the old ice house. And I love the awning. I like the old-fashioned awning that you go out and crank up. And, you know, if I look in the history of the building, Kendall Young once cranked out his awnings here. And I think that's fun. I like that story. I like to be part of that. So I like to crank out my own awning in the morning and be here.
So Kendall Young, for those that don't know Webster City, Kendall Young was the one that left money for the library to actually be built. It was a gold digger, a gold rush.
Gold digger.
Not a gold digger. Well, he dug gold. He actually was a gold digger, but not the kind of digger that we think of, right? Gold rush in the 1800s, and left money so that we could have the beautiful library that we do have today. And it's Seneca was the first main street. Seneca Street was the first main street in Webster City. So explain to us why your business is called Produce Station Pottery.
Okay, this was actually in the early part of the 1900s. This was a produce station. And so when we bought the building, it was owned by Middleton, and it was Middleton Produce Station. Or Middleton, maybe it's Produce Company. Maybe we added the station, but it was the Middleton Produce. And people would come here to sell eggs, and he would candle them and send them on. And then they brought their milk, and they separated the cream from the milk, and they sold that. Then they took their money and went shopping. It was a very direct economy. One of the things I like about Webster City, and I actually like this time in Webster City, is when you talk about the Kendall Youngs, the people who looked for gold and settled in small communities and built libraries and things like that. They were very entrepreneurial. And in some ways, a small community is a perfect place to be entrepreneurial. You do have to kind of dream up your own business because it might not necessarily be there otherwise, but what an opportunity. That didn't really put them off. They started businesses. I mean, one of the things they did was start many businesses. This building has been dozens of buildings, not just a couple, but dozens. And it looked like people every couple of years changed businesses. Might be a furniture store, then a candy store, then a clothing store. I mean, they were not hesitant about doing what they thought it took to meet a need. And I think that's kind of fun. I think that brings us to right where we are right now. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Well, let's talk about what kind of customers you serve. How can we refer customers to you? Who's your kind of customer?
Okay, I'm a gift market, really. I mean, I have the product for someone who enjoys the handmade item. It's not mass produced, it's special. It's one of a kind, and it's something that you should use. It should be part of your life. I encourage people not to put them on shelves, although they're beautiful, but to use them. Stoneware and porcelain is actually quite durable when it's handmade like this. And you can put your coffee in it, your tea in it, your cider, and even your wine. And so I think people should use them. I think there is something special about how you've actually, as I do that, I have to touch things. So like when I talk about handmade, I want to touch something. And I think that's what people do. When they come to the shop, they like to touch. And it feels nice. There's a texture on the surface that you can see where this pot was made by Billy. Can we see it very good? But it's got raised little ridges where he took a liquid clay and threw it on there. And it really records that hand motion. And that's part of Billy. And it sits here right on my shelf. And he's such a lovely young man. And these are really beautiful. I have seen a lot of pots in my life. He's probably one of the finest potters I've ever met. He will be showing in Kansas City coming up soon. His cousin Bobby, who was also my student, and has passed through here and has work here, he's going to be honored as the emerging artist of the nation at the national conference in Kansas City in March. So they're hardworking, amazing young men, and they're part of the Produce Station story.
What's your website? We've had a request to share your link to your website.
It's www.producestationpottery.com.
And then I want to talk about, we have our sip and stroll coming up. Mm-hmm. And at the last one, you actually served this wonderful cake thing that you made. Can you talk about what you served? It was awesome.
Yeah, we do mug cakes here partially because I like to share conversation. I like to share food, and I like to share the art we make here. And that's not unusual for potters. One of the best things about meeting with a group of potters, and I'll be going to the conference in Kansas City in March, they all love to talk and eat. So they're a great bunch of people to be around. But the mug cakes, I found out about them in Minnesota, and then, you come home and find out it's all over Pinterest anyway, which I always love. It's Pinterest is truly everywhere. But it's just a simple recipe for a cake that you make in the microwave in the mug, and we call them mug cakes. We also sell them here, but they're very kind of simple formula that you can get on Pinterest. And you mix it up and cook it for a minute and put a little, maybe chocolate or ice cream or cream on it, and serve it in a warm mug. It's kind of irresistible. And
you served it in the pottery there, right? Yep. It was just fabulous. So okay.
The same way when they come to Sip and Stroll, we give them the wine in our wine glasses, not in styrofoam, but in our wine glasses, because I like to feel that.
That's right. And our Sip and Stroll is April 15th. So people will be able to come to they can come to the shop anytime. Tell us your hours at the shop.
We're open from 12 to 4 every day. I'm here every time you see a white car here. I'm here working somewhere, but we try and be open on a steady basis, 12 to 4. Always by appointment. There's a phone number on the website. There's a phone number on the door. It's 515-835-0497. I'll meet you anytime if you're in town and want to be open. I can be open. But a lot of times I may be in the back. So if it doesn't look open, it's still probably someone's here.
Someone's there and you'll come meet them. Absolutely. So they can either just check out the website or give you a phone call.
One of the nice things we can do, one of the things I like is I like to, when I need a gift, to be able to call someone and have them send that special gift for me. And we're good at that. They can call us up. They can see what's on the website. And that's kind of mostly, we don't have the Etsy shop going right now. But you can see kind of the things we make. You can describe what you want with photographs on iPhones and cell phones. We can photograph something that just hot out of the kiln. And if you like it, buy it. And it'll be similar because pottery has certain shapes that are repeated. We have cups and mugs and bowls, big and small, and decorative items. You can kind of have a framework for what you'd like, and then we can show you specifics. Some people order specifically sizes and colors, but then we can pack it up, wrap it pretty, and send it to your loved one. So
you do ship just about everywhere, don't you?
We do. And we have boxes. We should be able to get them there in one piece. So anything else? Any other business news you'd like to share with us other than you're prepping for Sip and Stroll and, of course, all your shipping online? Well, one of the things, anybody who knows me, I always have lots of hats. And it depends which one I'm wearing this day. But Legacy Learning is a hat I put on when I retired from Iowa Central. And so teaching, I really taught 60 hours a week. So the studio had to be kind of in the background. But now that I'm in the studio all the time, I have a lot of time. So Legacy Learning is a 501c3 that a group of people here in the community work with me. And it's a organization meant to create economic development, but by linking art and natural resources. And one of the things when you say, what do I like about this community? And I say the parks we do have beautiful parks. We have a beautiful river. We've always canoed the river, and our children have grown up canoeing the river, running it in the winter on ice. And we've always loved that piece. And so every time we've gone someplace else, like southeastern Minnesota or Galena or someplace like that, we'd come home and say, gosh, we could do that here. And so it's kind of a we could do it here kind of thing. We're offering a full slate of adult classes meant to be kind of your bucket list. I always wanted to paint, or I always wanted to learn how to make fish ties, or I always wanted to learn how to fish, or I wanted to be a weaver, and I never had that opportunity. And so we provide all kinds of classes at a website called Legacy Learning, BRV.org, and BRV stands for Boone River Valley. So we're really kind of meant for this whole area, but located in Webster City, Briggs Woods. And so we teach throughout the community. We've been partners with the college. We've taught at the college. Some of our local businesses have been participant partners. Some of our classes are here at the produce station because we have the right kind of facilities. And so a few years ago, some stakeholders gathered under the auspices of the parks, the Hamilton County Conservation Board, and just saying, what do we need here? And one of the things was an event center with this teaching space, blah, blah, blah. All that seemed overwhelming. And then the company, the products, or the Frigidaire left, and we went through a time where we wondered what we should do next. And so one of the things we got talking about is why not start teaching in whatever we have, with the idea that at some point maybe facilities will come around on another plane. And indeed, Briggs Woods is now looking at an event center. It's not a teaching space, but now we teach in their cabins, which are new log cabins. So they're beautiful and provide the experience of somebody being somewhere to really learn in a group of like spirits in a relaxing kind of getaway staycation atmosphere. And America has a long tradition of adult learning. Chautauqua we did last fall. The Danes did adult learning as a requirement of learning your culture. And so it was important to take a month or a week every winter when your fields were fallow to go learn something. I love that idea of just learning something. We just did Kringla this morning at Deb Lexell's house, and I've got these, I should show them to you. I have these wonderful Kringla sitting right beside me now. Can I hold them up?
Oh my.
Look at those. And I learned the tricks of making Kringla, not to be disclosed here, but there are some secrets that it's not about the recipe exactly. So we had a group of people have a wonderful time, and we learned all sorts of things from each other, some about cookies and some not. So it was really very interesting. We actually ended up with quite a long discussion about the need for digital scrapbooking. Maybe that'll be our next venture, but it was a fun morning.
Oh, fun. Excellent. So, and that website, let me tweet that out. So, Legacy Learning, BRV, right?
The letters BRV.org.
And anyone can come to those classes, right?
Correct. Yes. And there's going to be a couple pottery classes. Actually, another former student of mine, Brant Wieland, is going to come in June and teach. And that one's going to be, we're going to throw a few pots. We'll learn to throw. We're going to do alternative firing mechanisms. So that'll be a fun outdoorsy kind of pottery class. That's in June. We're going to do a weekend in October. That's going to be a whole series of classes. We'll have bread baking, artisan bread baking. We're going to have log cabin building. We've got a pottery class about large pots. We've got, I better look at my notes here. We've got where did I put those? Oh, here we go. The pottery class in June is the 14th, 15th, and 16th. It's going to be 3 days. Oh, we're going to have pine needle baskets.
That's been a popular class.
Yes, that has been. And then also a painting class with David Raven. David Raven is a person who grew up in Webster City. He's a wonderful painter with an international reputation. He lives in the Twin Cities in St. Paul. And he does wonderful, beautiful paintings. And he's such a gifted, caring, committed instructor. I love to sit in on David's classes. I learn something every time. This is actually, can you see these? Can you see this? This is his father's tools. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, it is beautiful.
And he's a gifted painting. He's a gifted painter, but some gifted painters are not gifted instructors. He's both.
Yes, I do know the difference.
One of the things we do with Legacy Learning is we have the kind of people come that love to teach, and they love to teach adults in small settings. And so whether you are a beginner with only a dream of trying something, or somebody who's really committed and want to spend their lifetime doing it, it doesn't matter. They're groups of 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. You just spend 3 days with someone that will change your life.
Wow.
So it's really the experience of it that we want to do. Oh, we're also going to do a wild gathering. So you're going to make decorations for your house. And Kevin Rubash is going to teach with us for that. And Jean Eels is going to be the naturalist. So she will identify things that we can gather from our own locations. And then Kevin will help us put it together in a home environment. And you know how good he is at that. So, and then on the bread baking, I'm meeting tomorrow. We have a local Eagle Scout who wants to do a project. And we're at the beginning conversation of this, but we're hoping to do a pizza oven or bread oven, wood-burning bread oven at the park by the cabins. And then people will be able to use that. So we'll try the wood-burning bread oven for the class in the fall, hopefully. So that's,
won't that be fun?
It's the first weekend of October 1st and 2nd. It's going to be a full complement of classes. So bring your friends and neighbors because there'll be something for everyone.
Excellent. Well, we've used up all our time today. Mo, it's been my pleasure to have you. And we'll have this up on our blog, and it'll be in our e-newsletter on Friday. Thank you for your time today. We've tweeted out links, and we'll share those on Friday too. Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right. Bye now, everybody.